Adults of Reddit, what is something that sucks about being an adult that most teenagers don't realize? You can do whatever you want, but most of the time you either have commitments that prevent it, or you can't afford it. You can do whatever you want, but you don't feel like it anymore. Open bracket. If teenage me knew that 40-year me has a virtual reality headset I almost never use, he'd cut our dick off out of spite. Edit, Reddit gold is a waste of money. Me too. Like I've got it, I like using it, it's just tiring, don't have the energy to set all that shit up. I'd rather just sit and blankly stare at the wall after work. Too tired to do anything, don't want to sleep, because then it'll be morning again. Waiting for the weekend, and wishing the weeks away one by one. The adult experience. If technology were to invent a pause button that any of us could use to just freeze time comfortably, and we could just relax for as long as we wanted, sleep as much as we wanted, and enjoy the peace of unhurried, perpetual silence, the human race would instantly end as everyone lives out the rest of their lives in timeless limbo. People who actually do whatever they want in the moment end up in jail, or on drugs or dead. You spend most of your adult life doing what you don't want. Sort of right on. There are ways to avoid doing the things that you don't want to do, but it usually means that you also will be unable to do any of the things you do want. If it's worthwhile, it will take effort. I spent the good part of a decade living in a shack so that I could go surf every day. The lifestyle was great, but there was no way for me to move forward in life or have anything that was really mine. So I moved back to the Midwest and got a factory job, both things that I thought I would never do, which enabled me to have a real house, and I got married, and now all the things that I have to do, I just decide that it is what I get to do to have what I want. One day your body will betray you. Edit, this blew up faster than my kneecap. I hurt my back from bending over in an awkward position to brush my wife's hair. When something goes wrong or something unexpected happens, there's no one else to deal with it. Plugged toilet? You gotta clear it. Car out of gas? You gotta fill it. Run out of clean undies? You gotta do laundry. From small things to massive things, there's no one to make it go away but you. This didn't fully hit me until I had to clean a massive amount of puke out of the shower because I took a shower while I was sick and just absolutely lost my guts. Being a kid, someone else would have cleaned that up for me because I was sick, but as an adult, with a crazy high fever feeling absolutely terrible, I had to get on my knees and clean it up. There was no I don't feel good excuse, no someone else can do it, I had to clean it up, or it would get even more disgusting and clog my pipes. Tips for this, from a mom who has cleaned lots of gnarly stuff. Smear a bit of Vicks Vapor Rub on the skin under your nose, it helps cut the smell. See my edit below. If you're wearing glasses, consider removing them. Making the world slightly fuzzy might be preferable to being able to see the distinct details of every puke chunk. Use a dustpan, paper plate, or folded newspaper to remove solids. Try not to use the dust brush, it will be hard to clean. Instead, use a piece of cardboard or another paper plate to scrape up the mess. For carpet, shake some baking soda onto any remaining liquid stain, covering it completely. Let it sit for about 15 minutes to soak up as much of the liquid as possible. Then vacuum. If you have kids and or a dog or cat, it might be worthwhile to invest in a steam cleaner. They do sell handheld versions if your home is small. Addition. Thanks for the awards, you are too kind. Now PLZ stop. I often look around because I need an adult and then realize that's me and I gotta deal with this shit on my own. The world would be a far better place if everyone worked a little less. It blows my mind that people think that nothing you do is worth anything to society unless you're being paid to do it. This may have been true at some point, but today it seems like most jobs are predominantly busy work. The repetition makes you lose time. Having the same job, workout regimen, schedule in general makes days blend into one another. Edit, autocorrect. Should have said workout instead of without. Blend to blend. Regime to regiment. To regime. My god, did I spell anything correctly? Edit. Thanks for all the replies. I just want to point out I didn't mean life becomes boring. I was just talking about lack of those major separators we had as children, like summer vacation, new school, your first kiss, etc. Due to those major separators missing, I don't recall if I did something a year ago or 3 years ago. It's a little blurry if something happened 2 weeks ago or 4 months ago. This is because once you have a career and a home, you're doing a lot of similar things most days. Work, chores, cooking, hobbies, etc. This is why the days start to blend into one another, at least in your memory. A $1,000 paycheck isn't nearly as exciting as an adult. I remember getting a $650 paycheck when I was 15 and thinking, why do I need to go to high school anymore? I can just keep doing this lol. My dickhead nephew is 17 and spent $500 on a belt. Before you ask, no, it's just a belt. Edit. My inbox is melting. But to clear up, I live in the UK and was converting in my head. I never saw the belt in question, but my mother said, guess what your idiot nephew spent £400 on. She then described it to me as hideous and white. A lot of people are guessing Guxy, so I'm assuming it was something a lot like this. Discipline is very hard to maintain when you are lacking purpose. When you are a teenager, there's so much you think you can achieve. I'll get into that college. I'll get that degree. I'll land that cool job after. I'll date that person who will fulfill me. But what happens when those things fail? And you have to readjust, and the idea of progress turns into an idea of just a sustainment? My advice to teenagers as you enter adulthood: the most important thing you need to work towards figuring out as you enter into early adulthood is your purpose. It can change over time, of course, but never be without it. But what happens when those things fail? And you have to readjust, and the idea of progress turns into an idea of just a sustainment? Alternatively, what happens when you do all those things and realize you're still not fulfilled? That's when you realize you truly made it to adulthood. For me, it's watching my parents get old. As a teenager, I thought they were all about keeping me restricted and controlled. Now I realize they are just two people who never had a kid before, did the best they knew how, and fucked up at times like all other humans on the planet. I never realized how much I needed them emotionally until I saw my father through his open heart surgery and saw Parkinson's take my mother's independence. So here I'm still feeling like a teenager on the inside, staring down the barrel of 50, wondering what the hell happened. Dental care. It's so damn expensive if you let your teeth degrade. Please floss, my dudes. I met someone on Tinder who seems extremely nice and attractive, but their teeth are absolutely rotted and their breath smells like decay. I'm willing to help them find ways to get cheap dental cleanings through like the local dental hygienist college or something, and helping to supply them with toothbrushes, toothpaste and floss, but I have no idea how to broach the subject. I start doing this. I used to always have really great teeth. Had my first cavity at 16. Got a tiny one in between two brackets of my braces that even floss had a hard time reaching. Once I started working 2 jobs in my very early 20s, I was so tired I got lazy with keeping up with my teeth. It was a couple years of not being consistent, and I'm paying for that now 5 to 6 years later. I wanna kick past me in the You're at a time in your life when you see your friends almost every day at school. That should be cherished because it's vastly simpler than maintaining friendships as you enter adulthood and you don't have that constant contact. Life as an adult is change, most of it outside of your control. People change, circumstances shift, all of that work you put into your adult friendships can vanish in an instant, and you just have to adapt and move on. This is why I'd go $20k in debt for college again. Your entire life is people your own age, living in the same place, for 4 years. It's not comparable to anything else. I'm a decade out now and still miss that aspect of it. People are just down for spontaneous plans. When you're 30 it takes an act of God and 2 months planning to get more than 4 people together. And I say this as a lucky person who still has a wide social circle at age 30. I can't imagine moving to a new city at this age and trying to make new friends from scratch. This is the best reply. I'm in my 30s, and for some reason I went from feeling stable and sturdy in the world to feeling completely out of control, subject to whatever whims the world has for me. It's a terrifying feeling, and it's really changed me. Some of it is just clinical anxiety, but a lot of it is just coming to understand that adulthood is change. Definitely this. I had not a single friend at school. I've now graduated college, and I'm 3 years into working. I have more friends now than I've ever had. One thing to do, if you're struggling to make friends as an adult, is to get a hobby where you repeatedly see the same people. Making friends is all about having a reason to consistently see each other. Eventually, you'll start making plans to see them outside of your hobby commitments. 100% agree. School friends are like work friends. You are just together by chance and you can't always find a kindred spirit. If you are introverted, find a really outgoing person who enjoys things you like and hang out with them. They will naturally attract tons of people and often cross-pollinate their friends, so you can meet people you otherwise never would in a casual setting. Best way to make friends who share your interests. Out of all the replies to this thread, this is the one that struck me. It just never occurred to me that when I finish school in a year, I won't be seeing huge groups of my friends on a daily basis. And if that's not already bad enough, I'll have to put in actual effort to maintain those friendships. Damn. This hurts to think about. My senior year of high school, my mom told me something like, these people you see every day and think are your friends won't be around in 10 years, probably even 5. I thought she was so wrong, but boy, was she right. I don't even speak to my 2 best friends from high school that I moved in with freshman year of college. People will come in and out of your life at different times and for different lengths. Some people will leave and never come back. It's strange, but it's just part of life. During my HS graduation ceremony, at one point I looked around at my classmates and realized, holy shit, I'm probably never going to see most of these people ever again after this day. Even though I wasn't very outgoing and kept a small circle of friends, it was still a sobering thought after seeing them for 180 days a year for the previous 12 years. Definitely a point in life where your frame of reference changes pretty significantly. I'm 35 now and keep in touch with exactly 3 people from high school. I feel like if we've made it this long, we'll hopefully stay in touch for the rest of our lives. Even though February is the shortest month, the rent is still the same. Yeah, but if you're salaried, the paycheck doesn't have to last as long. I make like 10% more per day in February. Forgetting your age is a real problem. The only people who remind me how old I am are my kids, and I often have to double check. I used to ask my parents how old they were, and they always can't remember, or said 21, and it confused me. I get it now. This happens to me too, so much that when I genuinely forget my age, people think I'm doing a bit. This year, on my 26th birthday, I had a couple minutes of terror because I thought I was turning 27, even though I was sure it was probably 25. Weird, I had this exact thought not long ago. It's my birthday later this month, and for about a 2 to 3 month period I was so convinced I was 27 and turning 28, when in fact I'm 26, turning 27. I had to double and triple check the years to make sure there wasn't a mistake. Once I was sure, it felt like I'd just got a free year. There's never enough time for all the things you need to do. Definitely not enough time for the things you want to do. I would add to this that even if you had the hours in the day, you still won't have the time because it takes energy and motivation to do things, and sometimes you just don't have enough of that either. When I was a kid, I wanted a magic stopwatch to stop time and do whatever I wanted. As an adult I think of using that magic stopwatch, but for taking naps throughout the day without interrupting my workflow. You know, all those things you thought you would do when you were out on your own. They cost money, and you have to work for it. Aside from sleep, lol, Saturday rolls around, and I'm like, yes, I'm gonna sleep in. 7 AM and my body is like, okay, that's enough for you, time to do laundry. I miss being a kid and sleeping till noon. For me, the alarm goes off, and I immediately grumble, it's Saturday, and shut it off. Then 30 minutes later I realize it's not Saturday.